evening, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is going to be our trailer reaction for Jupiter's Legacy. It's a series coming to Netflix. We'll get into some of the stuff, whatever, but I'm a little interested in this because kind of seems like there's a lot of superhero stuff coming.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind.
It's so hot right now.
It is so hot right now. But there's it's good storytelling going on, and so putting it in live action form kind of is a thing. So here we go. Jupiter's Legacy, not Ascension. That's something different. And go.
Don't you remember the island
Sky Island.
and what we had to do to earn these powers?
Ooh, pretty.
90 years. 90 years, and what do we have to show for it?
We've made a difference, show.
Did we?
We can. What?
It looked good for 90s, by the way.
Yeah.
What was Dad like when he was younger?
Nothing ever rattled faster.
The man I knew was never at home when I was a kid. Too busy saving the world.
Well. He's pretty kick-ass.
Brandon, Chloe, everything you do is a reflection on this family. You have to be the ideal.
No one can live up to the ideal. Not even
Take your
God.
car.
They're not even close to being ready.
Perfect.
And I'm doing everything I can to keep this family from falling apart.
Well, it's not working.
It used to be that you protect your country. They call you a hero.
The world is changing. So I guess we're gonna have to change with it.
I'm going to kick your ass.
I don't know whether I can do this anymore. You do the right thing, somebody dies. You do the wrong thing, somebody dies.
So what would you do if you were the one calling the shots?
They put some money into that. Netflix, May 7th. All right.
All right. So a month from today.
Month from today, yeah. It's very typical Netflix to have an announcement about something and then not hear anything about it until it's about ready to come out.
Right. Well, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So, I mean, I still stand by it feels very much like Watchmen, like the Watchmen movie.
It does, with the idea of they're in the weird, they're known, they're in the real world, they're
And people aren't maybe necessarily so happy about superheroes, and they're older and trying to deal with the younger group, and
I get that. I get that. I get this too. Is especially if you're telling from the kids' the younger generation, I won't say kids, the younger generation's perspective, the idea of living up to this preconceived notion of what your parents
your
are.
Superhero parents. It's hard enough to live up to your parents just normally.
Right.
And now your parents are superheroes.
And now your parents are superheroes.
Yeah.
But it's 8-episode series coming to Netflix, and like I said, they put some money into this. It looks like I've talked about it a lot in trailer reactions and movie reviews and stuff like that. That I like the cinematography, shot composition, lighting, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they did a lot of that, and there's a lot of that going on in some of the big fight scenes that are in the trailer where it's not dark, it's not quick edit, it's in an open field and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
and long takes and stuff.
Yeah,
which is probably just kind of a factor of the CGI has come so far that we don't have to kind of hide it. You know, we can show it to you because it looks good.
It looks good, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that because I like that.
Yep.
It makes it gives something on a smaller scale of a TV show scope.
Yeah. There was a couple of scenes, and I don't know if I don't know if it's just because it's taken out of context and something else is going on, or if maybe they're not quite done. But there was a couple of scenes where, so the older guy with the long gray hair, and I don't know
That's
who is.
Josh Duhamel.
Okay, but I don't know what his
character's
name is.
Orion? Something like okay, yeah.
Anyway, Josh Duhamel. If it was him, the
Sheldon.
makeup or the hair didn't look quite right.
Right.
Maybe they hadn't finished, because I'm sure that they go in and kind of clean stuff up that hair
digitally-
and makeup doesn't.
What did Coy say today? They did things that, not particularly for this, but they filled things practically and then digitally enhanced them.
Right.
So
right.
yeah,
And so there
yeah.
was a couple of scenes where if it was him, it looked a little, and that's why I was kind of like, I don't know if that was, but they were all so quick that,
Right,
and
right.
again, they've still got a month and they may still be going in
The
and
throwing of the
fixing
car,
stuff.
it's a little bit like it's not quite there yet.
Yeah,
It will be
yeah.
for when the show gets
Yeah,
around. But
I'm sure it will.
But the show, it seems like it's going to be living up to that legacy of what your parents are,
Yep.
and the responsibility of taking on this mantle of being the champions for Earth, for
right.
your country.
But then,
for New York.
like I said, there's obviously some pushback on
Resentment, maybe pushback.
superhero.
Yeah.
Well, no, like there was some kind of
the
protest
Yeah.
going on and
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
that. So is this an ongoing series or is it only 8 episodes?
I tried to read up on it. For right now, it's Netflix. They didn't do like a 3-season order, right? They
Right.
did one season. We'll see how it goes or whatever.
Okay.
So, but the big thing is this is from Mark Millar, and who wrote Kick-Ass comic, who wrote the Kingsman comic. I think actually he's still writing the Kingsman comic right now. But about 3 years ago, he signed a exclusive deal with Netflix. So anything that was
Right.
going to be Mark Millar from the Millarverse was going to be on Netflix.
Right,
And this is the
yeah,
first
I
thing.
remember that.
It
It
was
was
like 500
50 years ago.
Yeah, it was like $500 million or something like that was the deal.
Right.
He was like one of the first ones to sign a big developmental deal with XYZ Studio.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I remember that.
And this is the first one they're doing, and the comic apparently is amazing. Now, I've talked about this in the past. I'm still trying to catch up on a lot of comic reading and stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff that I'm drawn to, because I got into comics as an older person, is the more adult, more darker kind of stuff, and a lot of the stuff away from the big two.
Yeah.
And so this seems like something right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
and
Great, he's going to buy more comic books.
Right. Well, I can go buy them in trades now and make on space, just smaller, taking up a space. Anyways, but the idea that Mark was directly involved in the making of this, he is the one of the showrunners, kind of what's going on.
Yep.
I think is really interesting, and I like the idea too that the two that seemed like to be Josh Duhamel's. His name is Sheldon Sampson, but his superhero name is Utopian.
Okay.
They're his kids. They're his whatever.
Yeah.
I like that they're, from her perspective, they're setting it in the modern day real world of she's an influencer.
Right.
And so she's going to be in the public eye and she's going to be targeted at some point in time.
Right.
And I wonder how much they're going to lean into sexploitation of younger women and how that's sold and how some women figure it out and how to use that as an empowerment for themselves and how some get taking advantage of and stuff like that, especially with somebody who has superpowers. They had that whole thing. So I find that very interesting, kind of interesting conversation.
Yeah.
And then you have the other version, her brother, who seems to be the one who's like, I just want to live on the farm, and I don't want to.
Leave me alone.
I don't want to be part of any of this. And so I love that dynamic too of the brother and sister. One's in the public eye, one's not in the public eye. That kind of idea.
Yeah.
So that is our thoughts on Jupiter's Legacy coming to Netflix on May 7th. Let us know what you thought of this trailer and our reaction to it in the comments down below. Please be nice. That is a requirement around here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications. Follow us on all the social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links in the description down below. And until next time, cult members, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.